How can you build effective habits in 3 months? I'm going to show you the framework that has worked for me and tell you how it's been going for the past 3 months. Maybe you want to get more fit, learn a language, find a new job, improve your speaking skills, or anything in between. Any endeavor that takes a long time takes consistency. If you want to lose weight, you have to consistently not eat day in and day out for some long period of time. If you want to learn a language, you have to practice that language for a long time, months at least, and likely even years. All of this means that you need to develop a habit. Something that you don't skip, something that you do, even if you're not feeling great, you're not feeling up for it, you go and do it anyways because it's habitual. One of the most important habits you can build is by working on what is important, but also not urgent. This idea comes from the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where the author calls it putting first things first. But I'm going to show you how you can start making a change in your life in just 3 months. So far it's worked for me, and hopefully it can be helpful for you as well. So here's the framework. First of all, pick a time frame. In this case, 3 months. Choose 3 months. This gives you a clear deadline, and generally 3 months is an amount of time that our brains can handle. It's not like saying I'm going to do this in the next 5 years or even in the next year. It's not like a New Year's resolution, which is essentially committing you to a year of behavior. 3 months is much more manageable, and I find that at least for me, my mind won't reject new habits as readily if it's just 3 months. 3 months kind of slides under the radar as something that can be accomplished. So with that 3 months, you also want to pick one thing, one important thing, one thing that is important to you, but it's not urgent, and you're going to make that your focus for the 3 months. This will be something that will require some form of habit, like losing weight, which requires you, in the easy form, to simply eat less, and in the harder form, to actually track how much you're eating so that you can get under a certain amount per day and do that consistently week in, week out for some amount of time, like 3 months. If you consistently eat less over the course of 3 months, you will look different in the mirror afterwards. You will notice. Or, another example, let's say you want to get better at writing. Then you can choose some relatively small habit related to writing, like you're going to write for at least 15 minutes every single day. 15 minutes is similar to 3 months in that it's a small enough amount of time that hopefully your mind doesn't instantly reject it as too much. If you say I'm going to write for 4 hours a day, then likely you won't be able to stick to that, at least not initially. But give yourself some small amount of time, at least that amount of time. You can write, and of course you can continue, which you often will want to do, even if it's not writing, whatever it is. Often when you just get yourself to sit down and start doing something, you'll want to keep doing it once you're started. And that is actually it. You choose an amount of time, 3 months, and then you choose a relatively small habit that you can do regularly to move yourself towards your important goal. Here's why this works. Because in each case, you're choosing an amount of time that isn't going to overwhelm you, and you're choosing a task that you can do regularly that also isn't going to overwhelm. The idea is to start small. Up until earlier this year, I had been ignoring important things in my life that weren't urgent, such as physical health, physical fitness, sleep quality. So about 3 months ago, I decided to implement this framework, and in my case, the goal was to lose weight. And I did the habit as I described. The habit was to eat less every day. And I started tracking my calories as part of this, although that's definitely not required. And I didn't start initially. Initially, I just ate less. But once I got in the habit, once it became a habit to simply eat less, once I wasn't constantly eating peanuts, once I was in the habit of eating less, then it became more automatic, which meant I had more mental energy to put towards tracking the calories. And by tracking the calories, I was able to actually eat more than I was eating. So I wasn't eating 1,500 a day, I might eat 1,800 or 2,000 calories in a day. But I can do that with confidence because I know how many calories I ate given the tracking. So that was 3 months and 15 pounds ago. It has worked great. The obvious next question then, of course, is what to do after 3 months. And the answer is you double down on the existing habit, or you add in a new habit. And I say add in intentionally. It does not mean you swap out your habits. If you are losing weight, then you could add in going to the gym. If you are writing every week, you could add in publishing your writing. And in this way, you can build more and more habits, or build the same habit up more and more over time, so it gets better. The reason this works is because once something is habitual, you don't need to think about it much. So as something becomes a habit, you can add in other things on top of it without requiring more mental energy and more willpower. But the most important thing is to start. That's all for today. If you like this, you could check out my latest video, which is probably totally unrelated. And if you found this useful, consider subscribing to the channel. See you next time.